Gen X, are we adults yet? Take one.
Gen X, are we adults yet? Merry Christmas. Our first podcast, the Director's Cut. Let's end the year with the beginning. We offer to you the Director's Cut of our very first podcast.
Hi,
I'm Jason.
And I'm Greg.
That's Greg.
We are Gen X.
And welcome to our podcast.
We're the
Yes.
last generation to grow up without internet.
I want to give a big shout out to everybody out there. Merry Christmas to you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in and checking us out. We greatly appreciate all of you guys. We love our Monday crew. Thank you guys for tuning in every Monday and catch the latest, crispiest episode that we try and drop every Sunday night. Monday crew, shout out to you. Merry Christmas to you guys. Shout out to all of our YouTube subscribers, everybody. I think there's 161 now. Thank you guys. And we've only been out a few months, and we're growing.
Crazy.
We have good numbers, so we love you guys. Thank you. To everyone who's watched our videos and is watching this video, thank you guys. Smash that subscribe button. We'd like to get to 200 here really soon. 161 is where we're at. We really appreciate it, though.
Yeah, that's a weird number.
Hit the subscribe button over there. Let us know you're watching. Anybody who's Gen X should already be subscribed. If you aren't, go ahead and do that.
I think there's more than 161 of us, though.
There's a few of us.
We're missing a few people. So
jump in. Merry Christmas to all of our fans out there, to all of our friends, to all of our family, to anybody who watches this video any day of the year. Merry Christmas to you guys. I am grateful for this podcast. I am grateful for my co-host over here. And I am grateful for you, the viewer, who make this all even possible. So thank you guys. Greatly appreciate you.
that's
G-Funk.
what we do it for, right?
That's what we do. We do. We got here, like Gary Vee says, make your content, your tribe will find you. Shout out to our tribe. Thank you, tribe.
161 so far.
161 so far. Here we go.
With thousands of people on the audio. We've got audio side, too.
We have 2.5 years of audio sitting at podbean.com. We have our links in the description. So, yeah, this is a podcast. We've had this for a minute. Our YouTube channel's brand new.
We were invited to YouTube.
We love
So
that. So,
We
G-Man,
decided to jump in.
tell us something good, my friend.
It's Christmas, man.
Yeah?
Setting up for a big Christmas party tomorrow.
Yeah?
Having all the people at the house. This is our big
Are you hosting?
holiday shebang. Yep, we're hosting it at the house.
Nice.
We're doing a bring your own charcuterie board.
What?
Buffet style. And everyone's bringing something from a different part of the country.
Wow.
Like different themes.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it turns out.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah, it should be cool.
That's
We'll
pretty
play
cool.
some of those silly games and unwrap some
Right.
saran wrap balls with oven mitts on and do all that silly shit.
All that
So,
fun stuff?
Yeah, I've been setting up for it the last couple of weeks. So
Really?
yeah, we're about ready to go.
Yay. That's pretty cool. I want to point out something that's been on the Gen X table here for a couple of weeks now, and I found it in a box recently. It's this OG bottle of Obsession
Don't spray it.
for men, Calvin Klein.
I have a feeling it's not as good as it used to be. Is it 40 years old?
No, this is not, but it's like 12 or 13 or 14 years old, somewhere in there.
It doesn't go bad. It doesn't spoil, right?
I think perfume or cologne does.
Doesn't.
I smell that. I can smell my fucking sweater from
Yeah,
high
it's a
school. Oh
smell,
my
yeah.
goodness.
Bill Cosby sweater.
Yes. Big old knit
Yes,
sweaters.
dude.
Solid color knit sweaters with the mullet, bro.
I can't believe it smells so girly now.
That smells hella good. It's
It smells girly.
musky. Yeah. Shut up.
Obsession.
Right there. All right. So you clicked on the title. Hopefully it described what we're going to do. We're going to end this year by going back to the beginning of our podcast days. We have on deck ready for you our very first podcast. We're going to play that and provide for you the commentary, the director's cut, the commentary, the story of the pop-up video and all that stuff behind our very first podcast. It's not very long. So, it won't take us very long to do this, but I want you guys to sit back and kick back. If you haven't heard our very first one, we're going to play it for you right here. Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Greg.
We are Gen X, and welcome
Those people
to our
before
podcast.
headphones.
We're the last generation. Our very first episode we recorded in our garage. We didn't have headphones.
Didn't have the headphones.
I set up my DJ booth. I put a speaker on the ground. Greg sat in an office chair next to a wall of speakers. I got pictures right here, but you see the wall of speakers, and then the big subwoofer on the ground that was like the table, right? And that was Greg's spot.
Yeah.
We recorded the first one out loud without headphones or nothing. We just talked, we just spoke, and just
did it. Even this intro was done without headphones. This was the first thing we recorded. Was this intro?
It was.
50s, and we are still wondering, are we adults yet?
We're very proud of that. We wrote all of that
Yeah, it
and then
worked.
practiced this. We found that intro.
Yeah, it worked.
So
Here we are.
we're recording.
We're on.
We're on. This is it. Episode 1.
Dang.
Gen X.
Go
are,
time.
Are we adults yet? Welcome to our podcast.
Welcome.
My name's Jason.
I'm Greg.
I'd like to thank you guys for listening. We put together this little podcast. You know, a little bit out of boredom, a little bit out of desire, a little bit of a whole bunch of let's just see what we can do with this.
Listen.
Now that we don't have any rules.
We do have some rules. Let's start with those real quick. Let's start with
We do have rules.
We do have rules.
we say seriously.
Nothing.
We
Oh,
are
yeah.
experts.
We don't know what we're talking about.
We are not giving advice. Do
No,
not
no, no.
take our advice. If I say take this advice,
Don't take it.
you need to hear do not.
Yeah, don't take it.
Do not take our advice. We're not professionals.
Don't.
This is our old intro. This is our original intro. We wanted to make sure everybody knew that we were not experts. Do not take our advice.
Yeah.
Do not take it seriously. And no matter what, it'll take our advice.
Do any of the
Any
things.
way.
Yeah, don't do any of the things.
We're going to give a lot of advice.
Yeah, probably.
Don't take it. Episode 1 calls for a little backstory, a little foundation, kind of what we're doing, where we're from, kind of who we are, kind of frame this whole podcast kind of thing. Hopefully by the end
I
of the
said
podcast,
kind of
we
5
can
fucking
answer
times.
the- Are we adults yet? And
Are we?
that's, I don't know.
Is it a feeling?
That's kind of the scope.
Is it an age?
And here's where it really
It's not
came
an
out.
age. I don't think it's a feeling. I don't think it's any single milestone. It may not be a collection of milestones, but I think it's more of how you manage things.
There it is.
We hit on that right away.
Juicy.
Uh-oh.
A little bit. All right. First topic is going to be family. I got family. I'm grateful for that. I do. My Ohana. Is that what it is?
A little fucking extra.
What do you say?
Hannah.
Lilo and Stitch.
Tangent. Already on a tangent.
Family means
Started
nothing.
the story on a tangent.
Well, my life.
Me.
I started in Manteca, a little tiny town, smack dab in the middle of agricultural California.
That was hard to say.
I was
Agricultural.
born there. I was born there. In fact, the doctor that delivered my first kid. He did. I was sitting there. He's delivering my son, and I asked him, "Hey, do you remember me?" And he's like, "No, but I remember your mother." True story. Same guy.
That's crazy.
Small
That's
town.
the small town stuff.
That's small towns. About 25,000 people. 25,000.
I was way off on
Like
those
that's
numbers,
small.
too.
1972. Not
Yeah.
right, like say my age.
Yeah, there's not 25,000 people in Manteca in 1972.
Born in
Yeah,
East
no
LA.
way, huh?
We're gonna say cool stuff.
Greg shouts out, he was born in East LA, and I cut right next to the fucking
Trying to
topic.
rope them guys in. but-
Keep it the lingo.
yeah.
Keep it fresh.
1972. Not afraid, like say my age. I mean, we're speaking to the people the same age.
I was born in East LA.
We're gonna say cool stuff so the youngins feel cool.
I was just throwing that out there.
Like a
No
complete
particular
nerd.
reason.
But,
Keep it the lingo.
yeah.
Keep it fresh.
A good co-host
Tight.
would have said, "Tell us about East LA or where at, what
Manteca.
city, whatever." Blah
Grew
blah
up there.
blah.
First 10 years.
Nope. Cut you right off.
Brothers.
Interesting side note: the whole next episode, the second one, home,
One of 5.
is all G monies.
Starts in East LA.
My parents were cool. They were cool, man. I
Shout out
think
to my
old men
parents.
over here
My
all
parents were
the way.
cool, man. Those fucking hippies.
The youngest one was just a baby.
Josh.
was just a baby and had long hair when I met him.
He lives in Iowa.
See? They all had long hair.
He
I
was
had long
like
hair in
that
high
little
school.
Mad Max baby.
Yeah, he was
Yes.
Mad Max, baby.
He was cool, though.
He had the big hair on the front.
He was cool. He's still alive. He was out there.
Give him a shout out.
Far that way.
What
It
up?
was a cool baby too.
Where does he live? What state?
I'm breaking the fourth wall. See,
Oregon?
so unprofessional in our very first episode.
You weren't.
Where's he
You should have
live?
edited that.
Josh. Wyoming?
Should have got screened out.
Oh. Iowa. Thank you. I had to picture it.
Iowa.
My parents were cool. We had plenty of friends around. Plenty of friends
Should
around.
be
all the
breathing
time.
right on the
Always
fucking
had
microphone.
friends.
Good lord.
Always
I didn't have fuzzies
That's not
either.
me.
I
And they
didn't
were
have
cool.
fuzzies.
One of my best friends growing up. I think that's how I met him. I don't remember.
Was that my
meeting him. I
lip
just
hitting the
remember always
fucking
being around
microphone?
him. His name's Aaron.
Or is that my knee?
Yeah.
I think that's my
his
knee
mom
hitting
was,
against the.
her name was Sue Ann, and her boyfriend was Eddie. And
Doing shaky leg on the.
Yeah, and it
on the
was
mic
hitting
stand.
against my fucking little DJ booth
Everything
thing.
vibrating together.
Whole
Yeah.
family or just the kid?
just the kid. He'd always move away and come back. I don't know. Maybe mom.
I haven't talked about Eric in a long time.
Right, but
Give a shout out to Eric Henderson.
but
Hope you're still alive, buddy.
had a lot of trouble together. found out that this other person that was in there has got out of prison for Moita.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Who was?
Eric's
Eddie?
stepdad. Eric's stepdad. Yeah, crazy.
You know what's
Oh,
fucked
yeah,
up?
we're eating tacos.
The stepdad meant that was mom's boyfriend at the time. Everybody was a stepdad.
Yeah.
So if you didn't catch that, the story is that, talking about my friend Eric, he came to live with us and blah, blah, blah. Eric's stepdad had just got out of prison. He was in prison for murder. I don't know the story. I don't know anything about it, but
It's the kind of kids you grew up with.
yeah.
There's a really cool guy named Crazy Sandy. He's gone now, but he was a good guy. Parents had a lot of interesting friends. They had a one-legged friend named Hoppy. Swear to God, true story. It was okay to call him that.
Crazy Sandy,
He was
Hoppy.
respectful. He was solid.
Yeah, he was a good dude.
All the hobbies are gone now.
Well, Crazy Sandy.
Can't call anybody crazy.
You
Sandy
can't call
anymore.
people Crazy Sandy. You
No.
can't call him. And it was
People
cool,
don't
man.
take kindly.
He introduced himself. He was a good dude.
He was crazy, though.
Dude.
Yeah, good guy.
Okay. I was picturing a crazy lady. You just changed the picture. in my
Yeah,
head.
Crazy Sandy's a dude, bro.
Instantly.
Yeah, right.
He's a surfer dude, like
I
stoner
don't know,
guy.
man. Picture like
Nah, he was a good dude, too.
a
I got to
bee
meet him a whole
surfer
bunch when I
that
was a kid.
lived
I got to see him a little bit later in the adult
inland
life.
that just
Passed away, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago or
You
so,
always have
maybe.
it.
I haven't heard this in so long.
I think you did.
Yeah, see, I'm good then.
I think you
I
did.
got it.
He was like a teenager in the wonder years.
Yeah.
Stayed that way.
Stayed that way.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
That's what happens.
I had a lot of friends come around. A lot of bikers when I was growing up. I remember a lot of motorcycles.
Trying to be all coy about it. Trying to be like,
he was a biker.
Dad ran with
Yeah, I
bikers.
think so.
I remember one time we had this van. It was like a conversion, I guess. It was like a cargo van. We had like sleeping bags in the back and pillows in the back. And I remember like once, twice, a bunch of times. Out of a bar.
Or a bunch of
One
times.
time I woke up and there were other kids in the car. I'm like,
My mom heard this at first. They said, that wasn't me. That was your dad.
Just bring your kids. We got
Hey, Dad, when you hear this, Mom completely blames you for all that
she
shit.
got Dime dropped.
It was a big babysitting spot.
I
It was a
guess.
potato chip truck turned into a babysitting spot in a bar.
Well, we
parking
never
lot.
slept in that van. That was the Granny Goose. Oh my God! So the Granny Goose, right? Shotgun seat, beanbag chair. So you're sitting in a beanbag chair going down the street. There are no seatbelts. You're right there, like a UPS driver.
Put a little
another guy-
stairs next
The little
to the
stairs,
stairs.
yeah, right there. Your feet dangled in that, while you sat facing backwards in a beanbag chair. Right.
Dope.
Yes. Anyways, we're driving down the street. We're not going that fast. We're going, I don't know, I'm like 8. Could be 6. Could have been 10. I don't know, somewhere in there. Somewhere. I tell my dad, I can run this fast. He's like, hop
No,
out.
you can't.
Hop out.
So I get all pumped up. I'm like, I can do it. I can do it. I can run this fast. He's like, do it. Jump.
Jump.
I jump. My feet hit the ground. They stick. That ground comes up so fast and smacks me in the face twice. Bat, bat. My hands are skinned. My knees are skinned. My lip is all numb.
That's the
feel my
best story.
nose is like starting to burn because it's all scraped up. Get back in the car.
Go.
Go. And this is like one of the first times, or maybe the last times, I heard my dad laugh so hard.
All right. So this is our very first podcast. I'm telling the story about the time I jumped out of a moving vehicle, right? My dad takes me to the store. My stepdad takes me to the store, whatever.
The encouragement.
And,
of a
I
parent.
was really young. He was, kind of new on the scene a little bit. I don't know how long he'd been with us. He'd only been with us maybe a year or two, whatever. It was a really short amount of time. And we take off and go to the store. I jump out of the car. We're coming up to the stop sign. I tell him, I can run this fast. And we've had him
Kids
on
are
the...
so confident like that.
Well, I could run that fast if I were like to start on the ground. We've had my dad on the show and he corrected me. So he's not here now, but here's the correction. When I said I could run this fast, he didn't say hop out.
I bet he did.
What he said was, so what happened was, he said, Jason, you can't run this fast. And then he goes, all of a sudden, you were just sitting there, then you just hopped on the ground and then hopped out and you hit the ground. I parked, I put it in park, I jumped out, I got out, and I was like, are you okay? And helped you back in the car, and that's not how I remember it. No, hop out, jump. You can't run this.
There's
I can run this
no
fast. Well,
way.
fucking jump.
Yeah.
Jump.
Seems more likely anyways.
Anyways, no, that jump fucked me up.
Nice try.
I've never tried to jump out of a car again. Got that one out of the way. Pretty early on. Yeah, I was like first or second grade, however old you are there.
It's a scary feeling though, when you
Jumping out of a car?
or just ending up going faster than you can run. If you end up going downhill too fast, or you know, those kind of out of control scenarios,
Right.
That sucks.
It does. I haven't been hit in the face in a really long time, thank God. Gotten better at that.
What kind of surface were you on?
It was we were driving down
The road.
So
road.
rocks covered in tar, stationary. I was mobile, soft scan mobile. I think when I told that story,
you got to get the legs kicking.
well, they didn't kick. They didn't. They stuck.
You got to jump. And you got to get the legs kicking like a Bugs Bunny.
You got to have 3 points of contact or something, and then get one leg going, then get 2 legs going,
Yeah.
Face planted.
Then maybe.
and then let go. See if you can do it and let go.
There was 2.
You know what I mean?
There
Like
was 3.
jumping onto a treadmill, holding
Yeah,
on.
the guys who do the fast treadmill.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
There was
did
the
not
initial
do
Yeah,
that.
jumped out, landed on both feet.
Confident 8-year-old.
I did
bro.
not run. I think I've been corrected a few times. I don't know. Maybe I might have just pointing stuff out, but we weren't going that fast. And I do remember coming up to a stop sign. So we might have been not going that fast. I may have been like 10. It may not have been 6, doing 15.
It was first or second grade.
But still.
Because we lived in I know the house we lived in. We didn't live there very long.
This man.
Kindergarten, first or second.
Pretty cool.
It was it.
The fact that he told you to go for it.
See?
Did he think you had it? Or did he know you weren't going to have it?
I don't know. He believed in me, I guess. I was pretty hyper as a kid.
He believed in me.
I was
He probably thought you had it. It's like, this kid probably can run.
And we found out that that wasn't the case. You can't run this fast. Shit, you jumped out before I could grab you.
I can't do his laugh, but he was laughing on the
You probably were saying it and getting out of the van at the same time.
So, I mean,
it was just.
I can guarantee you I was staring at the ground, picturing me jumping and just doing it.
It was like in front of Eric's grandma's house.
Like, I've seen this in the cartoons. I can definitely do this.
Right in there, because I know we were coming up to.
I'm showing it. I'm going to put the Google Street View up here, right where it's at. I know right where it's at. I know exactly what stop sign we're coming up to.
That's the neighborhood.
I'll show you my tooth mark.
Early 80s at some point. I don't remember what year he was born, but he was like 2.
Now we're talking about your brother
maybe
Garrett.
3 years old. Flew out of the back of the Jeep where we're driving.
Oh,
from
yeah,
Kmart
that was.
right there in
He was a
Modesto.
soft little baby when he did that, too.
Not Kmart. The Toys R Us. We were going
On Sisk.
faster than 6. And he was a little dude.
Greater than.
Just
Yes.
climbed out. It was no seatbelts and shit, like you said.
Just
So-
climbed out of
You
the
fell
back of
onto
that
the
thing
road?
while that was
Yeah, on
moving,
the
bro.
road. Some kind of Volkswagen stopped. My dad flipped out, threw it in reverse, drove back, took him to the hospital. The whole thing. It's crazy.
That's scary.
Got a scar on his head. Got his family scar.
Who else has one?
I got kicked by a horse.
Oh, can't lead with that. What started that day?
I was just chasing a dog around the yard. I was a little dude too, like 2 or 3. I was chasing a dog around, went underneath the fence. I wasn't supposed to go under because the dog went under the fence. And they said it was a baby horse.
Like earliest memories.
That a baby horse kicked me. I don't know if it makes
Kicked
that
in the
much
head by a
difference.
baby horse.
I don't know.
And my dad's got, I don't remember what, some construction site accident, something, got hit in the head with something. I think I've heard a couple of different stories.
Did you go to the
One
hospital
time.
when you got kicked by a horse?
I don't know.
Trying to set you up for a
Yeah,
joke.
because I think I got split stitches and the whole shit. So I think, yeah.
Were you a priority? Did they rush you right in, or did somebody get kicked
I
by an
don't
adult
even-
horse?
I barely remember that.
There was someone else ahead of me.
The neighbor had one of those lassie dogs, and I was chasing
What are those
the
lassie
dog
dogs?
around the country house, clearly with horses around and shit. So
Horses
I
said,
was
"Get
just
out of
following
here!"
this dog, and
Fucking
dog went
kicked
to the
you,
fence,
bro.
so I went under the fence.
Bink. I can see the scar. It's the one above your eyebrow, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it was even on purpose. I think the horse was just running by and I got in the way. I was
Somebody
like,
came
I
and
was being a
drug you back.
dumbass little kid.
You were halfway under the
Wow.
I
it
ended
wasn't
up
like
back-
I was.
I got out of there.
It was being nefarious.
I
It was
don't know
chasing me
why.
down to stomp me
My mom
out.
said I wasn't
Yeah.
crying until she showed
Nefarious.
up. I started crying.
Yeah,
A nefarious colt.
yeah. Serious baby horse, little puppy horse.
Cute as
I
fuck.
remember having stitches,
Get
I
you a
remember
splat.
Did they have to put the horse down? Is that like when a dog bites you?
visits.
I don't know. I don't think they do that.
Right.
I think they asked why the kid was fucking with the horse.
Like, what the hell was he doing in there?
A lot of shit.
Especially this is like what got to be 1977.
Yeah, because horses are pinned up and shit.
76, 77. I'm 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, earliest
My
memories.
parents did cool stuff like follow the band.
Sorry, parents.
Follow the band.
Follow the band.
They were pretty good.
Bar hopping.
The Drew brothers.
But they did follow the band. I didn't go with them everywhere.
And Steve.
Coolest local band name around here.
Oh God.
Emerson.
When was it like when my dad would take off in the summer with his buddies and go hunting for
These
2
guys were a
weeks?
legit band.
Your parents would just take off for 2 weeks.
Well, they
and
would go up to
follow the
like
band?
Jamestown to a bar up there for they'd bike up there.
Our friend's band's playing.
Yeah, exactly. Or big time. A lot of times is out at Mossdale, out there under the bridge and stuff. Mossdale Marina.
I didn't like country when I was a kid.
That was a spot.
They weren't deadheads.
No,
They loved it. They knew
Grateful
the
Dead?
people in it, so it was like their
They
friends
seemed
and
like they
band.
could have been.
They could have been. I think if they were a little bit older, they would have been deadheads. But they were more like 70s kids, late 70s kids, early 70s, mid 70s maybe,
Oh yeah, I forgot they're not that much older than us.
early 70s. I think
A little dive bar.
early 70s.
Like Porky's.
Been there.
Yeah.
Porky.
Big Porky.
Yeah, me and mom almost went to high school together.
Yeah, River.
She's pretty young.
Yeah. So, and the first time I got stoned was out there. 4th grade.
Fourth grade, bro.
Grade, bro.
Yeah. Parents out there watching the band. I'm out there hanging out with the kids of their friends.
Hanging out.
Yeah.
Shut
Don't let
didn't
your
have it
kids
all the
hang
time.
out.
It
If
was
they say they're hanging out,
We're
that's the kind of
smoking
shit they're
fucking
doing.
weed.
Smoking the reefer.
Yeah.
And the older kid had a joint.
Older kid, Sean. His name was Sean. It was fucking Sean.
Don't let your kids hang out around with a
Anybody
guy
named Sean.
Tree in front of the house with the 5 leaves, and we were like, "Dude, your parents got a big marijuana tree."
Yeah, see, we did try that. That was like
And we
3rd
totally
grade,
had to
maybe
go out
4th
and
grade.
binder
Mhm.
paper and smoke.
We thought we were smoking weed.
Yeah.
We put maple leaves in binder paper.
Nice.
Tastes fine.
High as fuck, huh?
Watch
So
my mom
high.
do it.
Stumbling around the schoolyard.
We got
Dumb.
those guys.
I remember, I don't think it was my parents. It was my parents' friends. I watched them roll joints or separate weed and seeds on a record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I watched somebody do that. I have like this weird replaying memory
I remember that.
of watching somebody do that. And then the cigarette roller or the joint
Fucking
roller.
schmag, yeah, the little zigzag
I might
joint
have
rollers all
rolled
over the place.
tobacco. It might have been weed. It might have been tobacco. But I think my
Nah, it was
mom seen
it was
me.
weed. I remember the same thing. You had to separate the seeds and you hold it at an angle and
Yeah.
then roll off the record.
I think my mom or my mom's friend watched me roll one.
Sitting in the middle of
Like,
the
okay,
table
well,
with
that's the
Uno
last
cards.
one.
All
I mean, I was probably 4. I don't know. Anything before kindergarten is 4 because I don't think I remember 3. I don't think 3-year-old's going to use a rolling machine.
Yeah.
God, I hope not. But I was pretty young. I don't
They
remember what
taught you
else.
how to roll?
Well, I
Didn't
watched them.
teach
They
me
had
how to
the little
roll.
machine with the red-
They'll let me do
no
it.
one was looking.
I want to do it.
I do remember
little
putting
rollers.
And you bugged him.
putting it in there in the
I
red
just
thing,
watched
in the
them do
fucking
that.
roller,
I wanted to
and
lick
making it even and closing it and doing this.
What does it taste like?
Yeah.
Paper.
I remember doing that and getting it to roll like that.
You just as a kid, you're like.
I remember asking, "Can I lick it?"
It was cool.
It's a cool invention.
So I did
Yeah.
that
Can I lick it? Let me lick it. Can I lick
I remember
it?
playing with it. I remember stuffing it. I remember trying to roll.
I
it
remember
back and
3
forth.
times.
I go, "Look, I
Fuck,
can
dude,
do it."
settle
I'm like,
down.
Okay, that's
Good
enough.
Lord.
I remember.
You were
Pretty
very
aggressive.
excited to be on a podcast.
I was very excited.
Way later.
I've matured.
They were confusing to me.
A long ass
Because you
gap.
spent all those years on a microphone not recording what you were doing.
See?
No one even.
Should have captured that shit.
Just wasted time.
Captured that shit.
Yep. Should have been live streaming every show. You were going with the left-handed mouse?
Yeah, I just go dual mice.
2 mouse, 2 cursors.
I got to do a lot of stuff as a kid. It was fun.
yeah.
Antigua was kind of in the country.
I can make it bigger,
Kinda,
make it
it wasn't
smaller.
a country town. It had
flip it.
town in it, but I mean, as a kid, no matter what road you drove down, if you drove on it long enough, you ended up in the country.
Yeah.
Right.
Or the freeway.
Any direction.
Yeah.
Hit the freeway.
There was like a little tiny town, Lathrop.
They
They used to like
Fluoridate their water.
Was that the word?
It was fucking
You put
gross.
fluoride,
Yeah.
Fluorine.
put fluoride in their water.
When I
It was
was a kid,
nasty.
Everywhere, right?
They're just
Well,
now
they
starting
did it in
to.
Lathrop. I remember the
stop
water
that
tasted
shit.
Horrible.
Yeah.
water. That was a thing.
Yeah.
Don't go to Lathrop. The water tastes made from, or whatever. There was like a mean kid rhyme. It was bad.
Yeah, they thought drinking fluoride was good for you back then.
They would give us little pumps.
See, so our first podcast, we had an outline a little bit, but this is kind of just our backstory, just kind of telling you some stories about my childhood. Because at the end of this episode, we're going to bring it back and ask a few kind of,
They
questions and just
give you a free toothbrush
kind of bring it
and
back.
stuff
So
like
the
that.
reason for these stories is kind
And you would
of to
dissolve
build a
it in your
picture
mouth,
of like,
and it would tell you how filthy your
you know,
teeth were.
some shit that I got to do as a kid.
Build the world.
You know
Build
what I
the
mean?
universe.
That the fucking that
were
you know
fucking
life
coming to
isn't
our
always
school and giving
peachy,
us
and you know not every kid had the same fucking upbringing. You know what I mean? And
It was,
you know, again, I do a lot to say that I'm not bashing my parents. This ain't a parent bashing. This is a picture painting.
No, we didn't go to prep school.
Well, I don't fuck know. I don't even know anybody who went to prep school. And what is prep school even preparatory you for?
My mom
Yeah.
signed the paper.
Had to be a snooty bitch.
Finishing school. The fuck you gonna finish?
Sounds hold your pinky out.
Yeah.
And drink stuff.
Yeah.
How to set your silverware out. That's basically what you learn.
It was part
Right.
of mine.
Check
Hold on.
yes.
$1 million
Iron
in
your
2
clothes.
years.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every time.
They'll
Mine
whoop
too.
your ass.
Dude, I got my ass whooped hella times.
Who?
Hella times.
Who?
Remember Mr.
My
Zuber?
parents let me spank let another person.
Oh yeah, Mr.
Principal.
Wickham.
Oh yeah.
Talking about
This was the
principals now.
setup for the principal episode.
It was. This is how we end up getting the principal. Andrea, hey
Episode
girl,
4.
shout out.
Paddles like the principals back then, or did you
Fucking
they
hell.
didn't make their own?
Fucking hell. Now we're trying to figure out where principals got their paddles from.
How do you get
Paddle
it out?
factory.
How do you?
Do you go by weight, size, and your size?
Was there any
Yeah, was
fucking
there a
guides?
Sell it to you know how to measure
Regulation?
What was they allowed to beat you with?
They could just hate you whatever the fuck they wanted to.
They can.
Zuber was
Ugh.
7'4".
I got spanked by Mr. Whitman. He was 7'4".
Yeah. He was scary as fuck.
Why do they make
principal was
vice
bigger than your
principals?
principal.
That guy beat him.
Fuck,
It was
dude.
a big- It was. There was.
He was
no
like-
way. He was
I don't
still
know.
scary, and he had a scary voice.
6'17" or some shit like that. He was big.
A little bit further, and I actually took the fucking whooping. Dude,
Yeah.
how
Yeah, I got whooped a few times in
What
school.
if you were-
I only got ever threatened with
Dude
it.
could swing a bigger paddle. What if you got a little tiny girl vice principal?
Dude, there's
She can-
somewhere
President.
somewhere has to exist
Vice president?
guidelines for a paddle size.
In the 80s.
There has to be. There has to be.
So we found out there wasn't.
No, there wasn't.
And we found out that wood shop made the fucking paddles for the vice principal, and the vice principals kept them for themselves.
I got principal friends.
Fucking just hit with
Andrea
a fucking 2x4.
is a principal.
I'd like to get a hold of an OG fucking paddle that's actually spanked kids before.
eBay.
Yeah,
I wonder if Sequoia still has their paddle.
My parents allowed another.
I don't know
You
what
could
the fuck
break
they
in
did
and
with it.
steal it.
in the
I should
school
call
system.
them.
We make a movie out of it.
Can I talk to the
need
principal,
know.
please?
What were the guidelines? What was the
Hey, my name's
Can
Jason.
we borrow this for a show?
When
Yeah.
it ended, it
I went to
ended.
school there in the
Can't do
fucking
it.
70s and
We've got-
80s.
we've got all this
So
collateral.
It was a thing that they knew about.
Was it a state by state law? Had to be a statewide law.
Really? Can they still do it in other states?
Oh, I bet. Yeah, some places aren't as sophisticated as California.
Oh wow.
People don't love that.
Teacher's paddle.
No, I mean not.
Agriculture.
And I'd rather.
Yeah,
do
dude,
it
they got them on
like
eBay.
that.
Look at those
Honestly.
fucking things, dude. That's like a sword.
Great Poupon.
What is that?
100 feet. So I'm taking it. That
Teacher's
some of our
Spanking
audience-
ruler punishment?
Bambu.
One day.
Yeah.
Oh, this is like.
will listen to
Oh,
this
here we go.
podcast.
Get spanked
We're
by
gonna
There's a
have
bus driver
everybody that's gonna
paddle.
Hear a whole bunch of different stuff in all these stories.
Mr. Plumber.
I mean,
Mr.
some people are gonna
Plumler.
be like, oh my god, this kid's parents. Some
Yeah,
people
bro,
are gonna be
like
like,
that.
Forming opinions.
yeah.
or.
and some folks are gonna be like,
So here's the part of the
should have one.
podcast where we kind of bring it around full circle and kind of describe what our podcast is all about. In the beginning, we talked a little bit about it. It's how you manage things, but we didn't really allude to the whole thing. And we're about to get into that right now. What has set the tone for our entire podcast universe in our season 1, episode 1 family, season 1, episode 1 family episode 1. Family. The fuck you say that? It's called
Family
family.
episode.
S1E1
Fams.
fams. We're about to bring it back full circle, right? So in this part is kind of describes the whole being or the whole kind of mission statement for our podcast. We do a lot of nostalgia. We do a lot of throwback stuff. We do a lot of fun stuff. But when it comes down to it, all the adulting stuff we talk about is kind of going to be described here in the next few minutes.
some of our audience one day,
One day.
when enough people listen to this podcast, we're gonna have everybody that's gonna hear a whole bunch of different stuff in all these stories, right? I mean, some people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, this kid's parents." Some
Right.
people are gonna be like,
Forming opinions.
"Yeah," and some folks are gonna be like, "And what?" I mean, shit, they're fine. But did you die?
Right.
Right? And some folks are gonna be like, "Pfft, "Hold my beer. Check this shit out. Here's what
Right.
I did."
Yeah.
Right?
Plenty of those.
So I guess no matter what we heard, it's the question is, just because we survived it, just because we didn't die just because, whatever happened.
I wish I didn't
happened
say it like
just
that.
Because what?
That's stupid.
It's that one guy,
We survived.
Brian Boitano.
Are we adults? Is this
It's
healthy?
because of
Is this
him.
unhealthy? Is it?
Did it create a healthy adult?
Did it have an impact? Was this something that just was just so whatever? I mean, don't get me wrong. My parents didn't. I mean, they're good, strong, loving people. They gave me a lot of good stuff. They gave me my faith. They gave me, a lot, everything I needed. My needs were met. Right? Don't get me wrong. Right?
Dude, everybody loved your.
And they're not here to defend themselves, so I'm not dragging them through it. But the point is, I'm really trying to bring up is sometimes we grow up through stuff, and just because we survived it doesn't mean we did it right or it didn't have an impact or whatnot.
Or we're trying to pass it on.
Or we're trying, but if it
Generational
did
trauma.
create a problem, if it did create a glitch in your matrix, in your system, I think just surviving it or acknowledging it alone doesn't qualify you as an adult, right? I think you're an adult when you can recognize and unfuck your glitches. Right?
There it is.
Generational curses, generational trauma, whatever you
Generational
call it,
shit.
cycles. Things that, our parents experienced from their parents based on whatever they went through. Like, let's say, for example, I'm kind of making this up again. We're not experts. Don't take our advice. But let's say people who are living in the Great Depression, their lives drastically changed, relatively quick. They learned new survival habits. They learned new things. Their kids learned from those parents. Now, whether that was trauma like domestic violence or drug abuse or verbal abuse or physical abuse or whatever those, list of wonderful fucking traits that get passed down to generation to generation.
It did affect people like that, though, because if you talk to grandparents of people our age, they hoarded food and did shit like that. That was Depression-era habits that they picked up because it was necessary.
So coping skills or
Yeah,
lack
yeah.
of coping skills. Or whatever
So
skill
coping
was
skills. I'm just gonna
created
beat the
to
shit
get
out of my
through
wife for that.
moment, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's grandpa
Yeah.
beating on grandma and kid had to watch, or, parents from the stress. So that kid learned to cope with that in some way. Maybe he took some of that, and then that kid grew up, had kids, taught those kids his coping skills based on his grandparents, that generational stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Gets passed down.
So I guess the point is when you can recognize and stop, or at least address.
Stop it.
Now, some things
Recognize.
you're not going to stop. I don't believe. Some things you can address, but I think one of the most powerful things you can do is recognize things that you have learned that probably should change before you teach them to your kids, right? One of those things would be like normalizing conversations about abuse, normalizing conversations about mental health, normalizing conversations about addiction, right? Things that happen to all of us a lot of times now. Not up
We
for
talked
debate,
about all
not
that
trying
stuff.
to,
We did.
say this, that, or the other, but sometimes this is out of our control. Sometimes it's going to happen. It's a matter of time. And sometimes, no matter what we do, we found ourselves in a situation we didn't want to be in, right? So,
Right.
when we can recognize those things and stop those things, let's say, anger, my mom's a good, strong.
We got some background noise.
We do. You can hear the kids.
Yeah.
She's going to hear this, and it's okay. I think, she'll be all right with this. But some of the best things she ever said was
At the top of her lungs. We talked
We
about
used
that.
to have
My dad was the
an
most direct
audience and
person
stuff when
ever.
we
He was
recorded
the most
too.
direct.
We did.
He'd tell me straight up, So guess what? I learned to be direct
And loud.
Yeah.
So some of the things that I get to learn as an adult, or as I adulting, I are adulting, right? Is that just that tone, that body language, to get more with a rapport relationship than I will with rules. To get more, I don't mean to get more for like game, but to have a relationship, to have that reciprocation, to have that mutual respect, or that mutuality, right?
Right.
So, I think you're an adult when you can recognize those things and actually stop some of those generational things. There's things you can stop, but there's other things that you may not. Addiction, you may not be able to stop that, but you can normalize talking about it. You can give warning signs. You can give heads up. You can say, hey, look, this what you're doing right here, normal people don't go through that. Right? You don't need to say normal like
That's a bad thing.
It's,
Fucking normal
the
people don't do
majority
that.
Don't do these certain things that you're saying are normal. They don't ever have these thoughts. They never.
Normal
struggle with
people
it.
don't
It's
drink
never-
through hangovers. It's just to fix them
It's-
again.
Yeah, that's not normal.
They just kind of go through it
So if
and
we can
then
take whatever
not
we did
drink.
as kids, whatever happened with our parents or their parents or whatever, we can take one thing and we can recognize that and unfuck that in ourselves.
Progress.
Protect our kids from carrying it on so they can start and grow without that one burden, whether it's, anger or resentment or hate, racism, right? All that stuff, right? Normalize talking about abuse and trauma. So if or when it does happen, God forbid, then it can talk about it. Maybe it can be stopped sooner. Maybe it won't last so long or whatnot, right? Are we adults yet? When we can recognize and unfuck our glitches and stop the generational stuff, I'd say yes.
I say yes.
I say yes.
The older you get, the more
When
I
you
second.
can.
start to recognize. I don't think it's
I second that shit.
process, bro. Because
It's a lifelong,
never
it's a
stop
journey, right? Right,
finding new stuff
right.
or realizing things. Like, I just realized why I do this.
Right.
Do something long enough
I am today years old.
and self-reflect at least a little bit, and you'll pick up on a lot of those.
It helps to have like-minded people around you. It helps to find
Your tribe.
information or just being around things that. So there's a saying: we are the average of the people we spend our time with. Right? We're the average of the 5 people we are.
Say it all the time.
Right. Right. So.
Yep.
So, but there is plenty of good stuff we should carry on, right? Like family recipes. My grandfather and my father's chicken adobo recipe.
That's right.
I want to give.
Still
to
make
my
that
kids,
shit.
let
I didn't
them-
mean to ask you about that.
It's good.
I mean,
2.5 years ago, I still have not delivered a pot of adobo to you.
Every adobo recipe goes back to a village somewhere. I understand. It goes back to a family, right? And each family in each village had probably the same ingredients, but probably access to different ones or whatever, and they just had different preferences. Maybe this grandma grew up over here, and after whatever, they didn't have certain.
I didn't have to
things. She moved
explain
over here,
every
her
fucking
brother
thing.
did, or the grandpa or whatnot, right?
I didn't have to
So,
explain the grandpa and
I've
grandma
had it
shit. I could just said they were
several
just different.
ways.
Let
My
it go.
Dad taught me how to make it as a soup with a whole fried chicken cut up, the big pieces quartered.
That's what I remember you doing.
Right.
So that's
Like heavy vinegar, like half in soy sauce, and then some tomato sauce, a whole head of garlic.
More than a
my
whole head of
girl was
garlic
like
now.
2
Now that we can buy
generations removed
peeled
from
fucking whole garlic,
in the Philippines.
fucking handful.
Handfuls.
Handfuls.
Yep.
Remember that
All of the garlic.
I'll eat garlic like that.
She's always wanted to try it.
The garlic would get soft and it'll smear. So I'll pull them
I'm
out.
gonna get you this
I'm fucking
recipe.
hungry just talking about it. I'll smear it along the bowl
Oh, yeah.
and then scoop up like this and pull a garlic smear in every bite.
Yeah.
Fucking hella good.
It's like
there's
salt
things
on your
we should
margarita.
have,
I'm
pass down
saying.
family history.
Garlic's got to be good for you.
And it
It's got to
doesn't
have a
matter
bunch
if
of
somebody's
trace
in the
shit in it
war
that's
or
really good for you.
something.
Yes.
Keeps
Especially
vamp-
if you make it in
Grandpa.
soup.
I want to know about.
And I drink the
Grandpa.
juice.
How
I
did
don't
he-
toss the juice.
How, what
Yes.
was my dad like as a kid?
All of the
what
juice.
was my grandpa like? Where'd he come from? I heard my grandpa was kind of a badass when he was.
Grandpa Shaggy.
I mean,
Beat up his teacher.
I mean, my earliest memory
Hey.
was old.
Chucky
you know what I mean?
Southwick.
So I don't ever really know him.
He did get in a fight, huh?
I think he peed in the garbage can. And
That's what it was. That's what he didn't get.
One of those type of guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, he was kind of badass. Like,
Badass.
when I saw
Fucking
pictures of
Chucky.
him as a kid.
Shout out to Chucky Southwick. Merry Christmas.
Dude, come on the show, bro.
Grew up on Venice
That would be
Beach
awesome.
in the
Phone it in.
Had to be
40s.
Right.
Venice Beach, California, 1945 or something like that. Dope.
Dope.
Handstand king.
Who was music in 1945?
His dad, single dad, and him living in Venice Beach, and his dad's in the bars every night. So he just does whatever. Talk about
Do what you want.
generational lack of supervision.
Right.
Yeah.
Muscles.
Did whatever he wanted.
Pictures. Definitely hand pictures down.
You know.
Should hand those down.
Yeah.
I
My
made
mom's got
sure
a
I
lot
got
of pictures.
Made sure of it. I have lots of pictures.
Now we're just talking about things you should hand down. You should not hand down generational trauma,
Pictures, dude, not just group
but you should hand down recipes.
Recipes and pictures.
You should not hand down anger, resentment, and hatred,
All the stuff.
I like seeing
but you should hand down pictures.
like a picture of somebody standing in the living room with a picture. on
We're
the
so
wall.
clever in our first episode.
What are we going to do when all of our pictures are just on these things in a drawer somewhere?
I printed a few.
You don't have them all printed out in a cool little
Yes.
photo book. This is the first thing Victoria wants to do when she comes around. Is look at all the old photos and stuff.
Clues.
But
Clues for your history.
no, we don't have that anymore.
My grandfather was one of those
Photo
ancestry.com
albums. I've seen places where they'll make books out of your photos and stuff, but
traced everything all the way back.
seems like a lot of work,
Shit.
a lot of sorting.
Came here from
crazy.
England.
That's crazy.
If I can get them off my phone onto a bigger screen, I can touch it.
And
I'll
then
go through it faster.
Something
It's
to
like a group.
auto choose the
It's
good
like a
pictures.
group contributor. Once you're
AI.
and you get tied in, once you can tell who your couple people are, and you get tied into the network, dude, we're all related to everybody. So
I get it.
it's all you got to do is fill in a couple of pieces on your branch, dude, and they'll start telling you who your great grandfather is. It's nuts what Ancestry.com.
That's trippy
yeah.
shit, dude.
Ancestry.
Yeah, it's crazy. Not
So
that
it takes them a
this
month
isn't
to
an
do
ad.
this?
We're not sponsored by Ancestry.com.
Yeah, we're not sponsored
Not yet.
yet.
Still not. What's
Still
up?
not sponsored.
Hit us up. Come on, you were on episode 1.
So looked up all kinds of shit.
All right, we're at the 2-minute warning now
Like that all the way
Yeah.
of our first episode. Yeah, 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning.
Yeah. Pretty
How are we gonna close this? How do we close?
Yeah. Something I don't get to have. Like, I don't know my history.
You want
so-
a big hat?
Yeah, I wish I had a big hat. I have a wide brimmed hat for outside work.
No, they had those big ones. They look like the Taj Mahal tops.
Yeah,
right?
the fucking
And
big
they-
furry
horses.
Fred Flintstone
Grand Poobah.
Grand Poobah.
Yeah, Grand Poobah.
They look
Big
Buffalo.
furry hat.
right. Yes, furry.
So sick. The only people that get to wear those, fucking marching bands.
They went from great conquerors.
Big furry hats.
That's right.
Yeah, great warriors.
Great warriors to marching band.
And marching bands.
Marching band likes to look like great warriors.
Not
They
we're
wear
saying the marching band and
fucking
Great Warriors
shoulder
are
pads.
opposites. Shout out to all the marching bands. I can't do it.
I can't do it.
Wear shoulder
We've been
pads.
saying that shit since day one. Better than me. I can't fucking do it.
Macy's Day Parade. I'm telling you, it's the top of the top, cream of the crop, the shit.
People
Shout
practice
out to
all
you
year
guys.
long
Yeah.
to
I
be
can't
in
do
a marching band. And
I can't
parade.
even play the
But they
recorder.
dress like great warriors.
Slavic warriors.
Northern Europeans. I'm guessing. Again,
minute.
we're not experts.
1
We
minute.
don't know shit.
So thank you for listening. If you want to give a shout out and some credit
You don't know shit.
to the freeware, it's not freeware, to Nefx, Nfx, Neffex,
In excess.
almost. Just Breathing. We got it on.
Title track.
Was our background to the intro, so shout out to the writer. And
We thought we had to
creator
put
of
that
Just
out there.
Breathing, the instrumental version.
We felt
obviously,
responsible for announcing who was in
Got
our
a million
intro.
views.
Yeah, it's a great song.
It's a good song.
Somebody knows that song.
I can't watch. His
If you haven't
podcast,
heard the
not
regular
watch
full
it.
version.
Because I've been living
All right, guys,
life
so, hey,
like
thank you for
I
listening.
could just
Our
die
first ever
any minute.
podcast.
Thank you.
Find us on Twitter, GenX. Are we adults yet?
X.
Is that too many characters?
That's too many.
This is
I
funny.
think so.
Maybe we should get the Twitter before we announce it.
Okay.
We didn't do our signature sign off.
I'm Jason. And I'm Greg. Peace out, everybody.
Just kind of went right into it.
That was it. That was it. So our first podcast, we did a lot of work. We put a lot into our very first podcast. And again, this was
That wasn't our first one. We recorded like 4 times. and we
This
had to
was
throw 'em all
Monday?
in the garbage.
June 6th, 2022. Was our first podcast. Monday, June 6th, 2022.
Yep.
We've been launching every Monday. That was the day we picked. We picked Monday. We've been doing it ever since. 136 episodes and 140 something episodes. I don't know. I can edit. I can look that shit up real quick. Hold on. I'll tell you right now.
You push fucking buttons.
Poorly, too. 131.
131.
Gen X, are we adults yet? We earned our trophies, is episode 131.
So this is 132.
This is episode number 132. Highway 132.
Some
right
people
to you.
have heard every single one of those.
There's a handful of folks who have heard them all. I have. I've heard
Oh,
them
yeah.
all. A couple times.
You have to.
I do.
But there's people that don't have to, but they do. They volunteer for it.
And we appreciate you guys. Gen X, are we adults yet? Check out our content over on podbean.com. The links are in the description. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Again, Merry Christmas to you. And the whole purpose was to kind of, bring awareness to our audio only, content. Go back and visit our very first podcast. It was a little rough. We've grown some. Our audio quality's gone up. We do have good microphones now. We got good headphones. We got, some state-of-the-art equipment here. We got higher end.
We're not in a garage anymore.
We're not in the garage. We're in the
studio.
Full Curve Towers. We could be at here. We could be here, and we could be anywhere we want. So
sick upgrades.
It's pretty dope. So we do enjoy it. This is a whole lot of fun. And you know what? I'm pretty grateful that we did start this. So again, thanks for that, man. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, bro.
A lot of growth, personally, a lot of reading, a lot of, the more you read, the more you learn. And if I'm reading about coping skills, you'll learn about coping skills. If I'm reading about this, that, or the other, everything that we've ever brought to the show. So 131 episodes, 131 weeks. We've been bringing the show, so we love it. So we're finding our tribe. We're at 161 on the YouTube. So if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Let us know you're watching, and that's gonna do it for us tonight. Merry Christmas, you guys. This is gonna wrap it up, and peace out. My name is Jason,
and I'm Greg.
Later, everybody.
Late.
I flicked it. I flicked it.
It worked.
It did. I hella flicked it. That was like an aggressive volume increase.
Yeah, dude, this is a crazy maneuver.